Still be.
We've got to roll through
This is live right now. I still have to prompt them, so. Right. Beautiful. Oh, here we go. Hey, everybody. And oh, man, this chest cold is killing me. Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to day number 2. As always, as you jump on, please hop into the comments and say hi and where you are tuning in from. We got a meaty training today. So we're gonna ask all of you to buckle up and really close out any and all tabs that you have open outside of this. Take your phones, put them face down, because today we're going to need some full attention, because we're going over what actually needs to get done in your business each and every day, the things that you need to focus on. Now, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat, or an N or a no if you did or did not complete the business assessment from day number 1. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. Okay. So, again, if you have not yet completed it, please do go back to the morning replay email that was sent out. It goes out at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single morning. Check your junk or spam just in case. The assessment link is right in there in case you obviously need to check that out. Again, the business assessment is so important. So for those that did take the business assessment, what was your biggest takeaway from the assessment itself? Drop the answer in the chat below. Like, what, again, I know there was a lot on there, and it's really good to take that 10,000 foot view, more organized than you thought. Yep. A lot of work to do, lots to do, have a lot to do. Yeah. And again, I think the business assessment is really important, because I would assume you would all agree with us that there are a little bit more complexities to the things that need to get done in a business that maybe you thought about. When we think about a business, sometimes we look at it from a very granular level, a lot of the basic stuff. But when we kind of get under the hood of a lot of the things that need to get done, we realize, as a lot of you mentioned, that there's a lot of things that I need to put into place. And, the big thing is this: when you get all of those things into place, oh man, I can't tell you how good it feels to have all of those structures in place. And that's the big thing. The other thing I'll say is this, and I'm going to turn it to Nancy, is when you realize that there is work to be done in and for your business, it shouldn't upset you. It should excite you, in the sense that now okay, here are the things that I need to focus on. Here are the things that I need to put into place. And I know when I get those things into place, it's going to move my business forward in the right direction. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So the business assessment, again, you can take it and go through it at any point this week. We always like to start with the business assessment whenever we do this workshop, because it bleeds right into what we're going to be going over today, which obviously is what you actually should be focusing on in your business. The reason why we're focusing on this in day number 2 is full transparency and full honesty. People sometimes will spend time on the wrong things for their business, and they push to the wayside the things that they actually should be focusing on. And we want to kind of bring forward and shed light on those things that you should absolutely be focusing on each and every day for your business. So you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting your energy, you're not wasting your money. Now, just a couple quick reminders. There's going to be 2 winners announced at the end of today's session. There's going to be 2 Amazon gift card winners today. In order to receive that, obviously, number one, you have to be in the Facebook group, which about half of you still are not. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat again, right there. So if anybody has not yet joined the private Facebook group, you can do so there. There's an accountability assignment each and every day that's going to be pinned to the top. Today is going to say, obviously, day 2, Nancy's homework thread. And number 3, you actually have to be on here live to actually claim that prize. So we had picked some winners out from those that completed it. And if they're on here, obviously their name will be called. And if not, obviously there'll be another person picked out that is on here. So if everybody's clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Also, don't forget, there are a number of email reminders that are going to be going out. You guys got the 7 a.m. replay reminder this morning. That link where you clicked to watch the replay, you're going to use that link every single day. You're just going to see a new video populate on that replay page. You'll be receiving that email again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. along with the 1-hour reminder, 15-minute reminder, and the We Are Live reminder. So with that being said, we got a lot to dive into. Welcome to day number 2, and I'm going to turn it over to Nancy.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into, like Scott said, it's a meaty training, but I also want to kind of prime you guys a little bit. I want you in brainstorming mode. Okay, so kind of like I mentioned yesterday, even having a pen and pencil, or a pen or pencil, and just a blank piece of paper is going to be huge for today.
Yep.
Or your workbook, right? You can work on that, right on the back of that as well. But we're going to be going through, and the different things that are going to be on your daily schedule might look a little different, than someone else based on your business. But I do want to kind of prime you guys and walk through a couple of the different focuses to make sure that you know what you're adding. But our goal here is to help you and be on here co-working so that you actually get this done. So you have a good feel for what needs to get done each day and how you're going to really time block, your schedule so that you can get more done. So we're going to give you some exercises as it pertains to that. All right.
All right. So as always, just let us know once we get this up and going. Give us 1 second. Present. There we go. All right. So if you guys can see our screen clearly, please just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure before we dive on in. Okay. Beautiful. Excellent. Awesome.
All right, great. So, obviously we are going through. We went over all that yesterday. Oh, also keep in mind, guys, the replay page that we send out also has any links that we talk about. So for example, yesterday, the business assessment link is in there. The hourly rate calculator that we recommended is also on the replay page as well. So again, that replay page is going to be your one-stop shop for all things, that we do mention during the training. Okay. So obviously we're digging in today, identifying what needs to get done. Okay. And as simple as it sounds, sometimes we just need to really reel it in and know what the different things are that we should be focusing on. So yesterday, as we went over assessing your business, we talked about the 3 core functions of every business, right? No matter what you are, a sales business, whether you work with people with services, products, content, so on and so forth, right? All businesses, big, small, medium, all different sizes, have 3 core functions, and that's the sales and marketing, operations, and financial side of the business. Now, I know Scott already asked you guys this, but if you want to share, what were some of the bottlenecks that you identified from the assessment the other day? I know I heard a lot of different things from people. Some were like, wow, I'm really a lot more organized than I thought, I've got a lot more in place, which is amazing. But there might have been a few things on there that you really want to focus on. So if you guys want to share in the chat,
maybe just one thing.
Yeah, just one thing, What is one thing that you kind of gathered from the assessment? And there's no wrong or right answer. It's, maybe even a certain area, like altogether, you want to focus a lot more on your operations, or maybe you want to focus more on your, lead gen strategy, or so on and so forth. So you guys can share that in the chat.
Organized, not wasting time. Need a value ladder. Yeah, value ladder is huge.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So before we dig in, I do want to revisit, I talked about this the other day, but the importance of getting clear on your vision. Okay. And I can't say this enough because, again, if we are having those days where we're just not motivated or we kind of feel stagnant and, we're just really like not in a good place with our business, you need to remember that it's a good idea to really reel that in and get clear on your vision, right? What is the big goal that you have in your business? What is it that you're building out? How do you want to help people? How do you want to work with people? Like, why did you start down this journey in the first place, right? You need to get clear on that vision and what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too is, as you are doing this, for anyone who is overwhelmed, I want to remind you, just like creating a symphony, right? One note at a time. That's how it's created. So these little things that you're going to obviously add into your business, you're going to adjust, you're going to, tweak. It's one step at a time, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? We don't have to snap our fingers and have everything done all at once. We've just got to be intentional on the things that we are doing. Okay. So again, I just cannot reiterate this enough. And then we'll keep going. But what is the vision that you have for your business, right? You want to have a clear path of why your business exists and what the heck you're doing.
So drop into the chat if you are 100% clear on the vision of your business. We want you to type the word clear. If you're not 100% clear, type not clear. So if you're completely 100%, type clear. If you're not completely clear, type not clear. Okay,
Excellent.
good.
Yeah, excellent. And again, like I told everybody, if you are not clear, this is the first step. Like, I don't want you guys thinking about anything else. Like, we've got to know why we're doing what we're doing, and we've got to know what the whole mission is.
Yep.
Okay. So, it also helps with your mindset. I added the slide in here because it's so important, being clear on what you want and what you're passionate about, and what you want to achieve. It's really going to help fuel so many other things. And I put the quote in here by Marie Forleo that I love: wishy-washy goals equal wishy-washy results. If we're not really sure what it is that we're working towards, sometimes we can feel lost. We can feel not fired up, not passionate about really getting to that place, where we want to be. I know one reason that, I'm so passionate about building our business is because I just always wanted to create a business that would give us time flexibility,
Yep.
give us time freedom, make it so that we don't have to, work jobs that we don't want to work and work with people we don't want to work with. I mean, that has always been a really guiding North Star for me. So today's goals are right. We're going to break down what needs to get done. Now, before we get into this, okay, because it's going to be a lot, we're going to move fairly quickly. Okay. And I know there's 50 of us on here today, and over 250 people have registered. So whether you're watching the replay or you're joining us live, I do want to remind you guys, you can go back and watch the replay. We're going to upload it right after we finish. You're going to go back to that replay page if you need to sit on something a little bit longer, and think through some things. Okay. And the replays will be available until Sunday.
Yep.
So don't panic as we're going through this, because what we want to do is we want to give you guys a lot of value. And part of that is also talking about mapping out your high level marketing plan. So we're going to start with the micro, right? The daily, weekly routine. And then I'm going to look at the macro with you guys. Okay.
And just remember, this is not only a training, this is I would say / co-working session with you guys today, because we want you to actively participate, not just in the chat, but on the workbook that you have, or a piece of paper, pen, or pencil. So if you guys have something to write on and with, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. It is crucial that you do, because we're going to be taking you through a lot of the exercises that once we're done today, that feeling of overwhelm is going to be way, way, way reduced.
Okay. So I always start with this slide. Fact, we have 24 hours in a day, but the other fact is you can't work 24 hours each day.
Yeah.
It's just not feasible, right? So every single one of us has the same amount of time. However, I know, right? Everyone's life is different, right? Some people are full-time entrepreneurs, some are part-time entrepreneurs. So I want you guys to share in the chat, are you guys working part-time on your business, or are you working full-time on your business? Okay. Because again, this is going to look completely different, right? We've got part-time and we've got a full-time schedule. Okay.
Awesome.
So we're going to look at this. And again, we got a really nice mix, right? So we're going to look at this from both aspects, depending on how much time you actually have. So the next step is thinking about what needs to get done in your business. Okay. So what specific things need to get done? Okay. So if you remember, okay, in your assessment, okay, in the workbook, there are some things on the assessment that had that little yellow check mark. Okay. So if it had a check mark, this is something that needs to be added right to your schedule. It's a routine. So, for example, if there's a little yellow check mark around creating content on social media, that is something that needs to be added to an actual schedule, right? So, for those things, I would first say highlight them. Okay. So, whether it be under client experience, you can see in the example here, are you checking in and following up with clients? That should be done weekly. Absolutely, right? Highlight that baby because that needs to be something that needs to be scheduled, right? On your weekly schedule because you need to make sure to check in with clients. Okay. So just keep in mind, again, everything with that yellow check mark, we should be including in our routine. So taking the time to map out what needs to get done is everything. Okay. I know we mentioned the book Atomic Habits the other day, but I can't stress this enough. The people who are successful, the businesses that are successful and still going, are the ones that have taken the time to really map out and be intentional with the time they are giving each and every day.
Yep.
Okay. So most entrepreneurs, right? And there's a quote by Tom Ferry, most entrepreneurs fail because they can't handle the boredom of the mundane, of doing the mundane that causes them to be great. Okay. And I like this quote because it's sometimes we just need to do specific things consistently, right? Again and again and again. And a lot of us, right? We want to do other things and we want to spend our time doing the new and, different things. So anyway, what gets scheduled gets done. Okay. I want you guys to keep that in mind. If we're actually making time to get it done, it's going to get done if it's scheduled.
So drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you feel that you are and are not prioritizing what needs to get done to your maximum capacity. So Y or yes, N or no if you feel that you are prioritizing. Now, for the people that have typed no, I just want to commend you for being vulnerable, for being transparent, for being open, because one of the first steps to becoming successful in business is acknowledging that you have things to improve. And it was kind of like a trick question because no matter how organized myself and Nancy are, there are definitely things that we need to do better at prioritizing because it's never going to be 100% yes. There's always going to be a little bit of a no as far as things that you need to prioritize, because as your business changes, there are going to be things that maybe weren't a priority before that are now a major priority. So sometimes those yeses become nos and vice versa. So if everybody is clear on that, yep, progress over perfection. I love that.
Yep.
Drop a Y or a yes in the chat if everybody is clear on that so far. Awesome.
Right.
Wonderful.
Excellent. So now we're going to start digging into, right? Because I do want to tell you guys, right? Your schedules might look different, right? Week to week, depending on what you have going on. But there are 4 different categories typically of things, right? That we want to think about. And what I really want to really have you guys figure out today is what are the basics, right? What are the bare minimum basic things that need to get done that maybe currently aren't getting done in your business? So here are the different categories, and quite honestly, in fact, here's the next slide. They're in order of value, right? The red one at the top is growing your business, especially in the beginning. Getting sales, getting money in the door. In fact, Scott taught me this years ago. I remember I was spreading myself thin. I was doing a lot of things. And he goes, Nancy, you need to be spending time right now on the things that are actually making money, right? As a passionate entrepreneur, which many of us are, right? I had a little bit of not a little bit, a lot of bit of the squirrel brain. And I was all over the place. And he said, time block, right? Start mapping out your day. And at the time, I was actually a real estate agent and I was running my local house cleaning company. So I knew, right, my house cleaning company was bringing in the most money. So I needed to make sure that I was blocking out certain time, right, to really focus on that business. Next, right, I really wanted to grow my real estate business. So I needed to block out time for that business. So that's just an example of me, right? I had multiple focuses. But if you guys are working on one business, right, which I highly recommend, right, don't spread yourself thin. Pick the one that you're going to focus on to crush it. And then once that baby is scaled and running like a well-oiled machine, you got a team you can plug into it, then move on to the next, right? Because it's hard enough at this point to grow one business. And I really want you guys to stay focused and really build it to what it could really be.
This is the recommendation that we have for any business owner that we work with, people that have multiple six, seven-figure businesses.
Yeah, let me be the example. Don't be the multi-passionate on it. Don't have too many irons in the fire, too many things that you're doing. You know, within one business, you can have multiple revenue streams, but keep in mind that you are really going to be able to really get the tread going and get the car moving forward much quicker when you're able to focus on your one business.
Once you get that first one up and going, then you move on to the next. And that's why Nancy and I like made the decision, like, we're not creating any new products. We're not creating any new services. We're not creating any new workshops, because it's going to take the focus away from what is working. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Focus on the one thing that you want to get going until you move on to the next.
Yep. And exactly. And so just to explain this, guys, it's not so much, you know, I wrote value ladder. It's in order of, right, things that should be focused on. Number one, right, growing your business. That's a huge priority task, right? You know, or tasks that are under that. Working on your business, obviously working in, and then administrative. So as we break this down, okay, we're going to start with, you know, what are some of the things that you can do under growing your business, right? So what are the things that we can do to really work on growing your business, right? We want to attract your people. We want to capture your people. We want to engage them, and we want to convert them into sales, right? So those are marketing activities. Those are sales activities. Those are different things that you can do within your business. So I want to remind you as well, it's not just about posting content.
Yep.
Okay. You know, if you're just like, well, I'm posting every day. Well, it's more than that, right? It's building relationships. It's networking with people. It's connecting. It's pitching. It's getting out there, right? You know, Scott, you know, a lot of times whenever he promotes his book, he goes on podcast tours, right? He does different things, right, that really get him out there. You know, if you guys are, you know, have a business or a service that makes sense, and it makes sense for you to get out there and connect, or maybe do some trainings for associations. You know, I work with a lot of health insurance brokers, for example, and I worked with a particular client who actually developed a software program for health insurance brokers. And he started going to all the underwriting, you know, conferences and all the associations that all the health insurance brokers went to. And I thought it was brilliant, right? Because where else in one room can you get all your ideal clients?
So we call this the field of dreams syndrome, where people feel like if they build it, they will come. Meaning, if you're just going to be posting content, oh, I'm just going to post stuff and people are going to reach out and they're going to buy everything that I have. Nancy talks about this all the time, and I 100% agree with her. Building a business and creating sales is a contact sport. So you need to be networking. You need to be connecting. You need to be engaging, right? You need to be building business allies and relationships. If you are sitting behind your computer, just posting content, or on your phone, and then sitting there with your arms crossed, waiting for sales to come in, you are going to be sitting at a bus stop where there is no bus on that route anymore. You need to be active in building relationships so you can build your business.
Absolutely. You know, again, full transparent. You know, we just, in fact, had our monthly operations meeting, right? We went through all of our key performance indicators, all of our metrics, you know, what went well from like last month's focus in our sales and everything. And we talked through all different things. And Scott and I both agreed, we really got to put together a really good plan to grow our audience, right? And to really get ourselves out there more in 2024, right? So right now, right, we're in the process of even planning some of this out for ourselves. But there are many different things that you can do. So you guys can share in the chat, and I'm actually going to show you a little list in a second. But what are some things that you can do to grow your business? Okay. So I know Susan wrote, start having events, either virtual in person.
Love
Absolutely.
That. Yep. More free talks. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Reaching out and building a relationship with more people. Yep. Absolutely.
Again, there is and this is why you guys know how much, you know, we love LinkedIn, and we teach on that, because it's a global networking event every single time you log on there. And that's the big thing, is getting out there. That's why, we do between 7 and 9 workshops a year. We want to meet new people. We want to connect with new people. We want to nurture new people, and we want to build that know, like, and trust. If every single one of you just had that focus of what can I do to get myself out there more, whether it's going on podcasts, doing free webinars or seminars, you will be absolutely amazed at how much your business will grow, because that's new people meeting you. And again, if you're meeting the right people that are in need of what you provide as a service, as a good, as a product that fills their pain point, you're going to have more sales in your business.
Yep, absolutely. So, here are some ones, right? And again, there's no perfect science to this. It's going to look a little different for everyone, but, here are some different things that you can do to grow your business. I'm not going to go through and read through every one, but, awesome job for you guys sharing in the chat, right? You added a couple things that are on here. But you need to put together what that looks like for your business. If you guys are finding that you're getting some traction going into Facebook groups and providing value and connecting with people, awesome. Pick 3 to 5 Facebook groups and make sure you're doing that every day, right? Maybe set aside maybe 15 minutes to do it. In fact, that's how I hired our copywriter. I had followed her and she'd shared so much value in these Facebook groups. I'm like, who is this? I want to work with her. So, think about those different things that you can do. Setting up one coffee connect call per day. Okay. So how long does that really take? You can set up a 30-minute call, and for every one person you connect with, guys, if you pour value, do you deliver this value? One person knows about, I think the average is like 100 people. So if you really, really meet people and you network and you do things in the right way, you provide value, you can really spread, right, the message pretty quickly.
So I'll share with you a quick story before we move on to the next slide. I did a LinkedIn live training last week about a certain topic around LinkedIn. And this one gentleman actually really was resonating with what I was talking about, sent me a connection request with a note. And he goes, I would love to hop on a call. I want to find out more about your business and, get any insights from you, which I'm always happy to do. Hopped on a call with him yesterday. Great connection call. He works for a sales organization in Boston, Massachusetts. And again, we shared that commonality of coming from great sports town, us being outside of Philadelphia and him being in Boston. And he was asking me about LinkedIn sales solutions, how much it is it worth it? And I said, I can't really speak to that, but I know it's X amount of dollars per month or per year. And he says, well, what do you promote? And I told him a little bit about my membership. And he goes, wow, that sounds awesome. Can you share that information with me? Because I feel people could really benefit from what you're doing. And he goes, after we hop off, can you send me the link to your membership so I can share it with some of my, coworkers and people that I work with? And I said, absolutely. So that was a great connection there just by giving free value. And now we made that connection and he's willing to share more about what I'm doing with his whole network. And that's the beauty of how this whole thing works.
Absolutely. And I will say, one thing that Scott, and again, we had our end of year meeting, we kind of looked at the different months, where we really focused on growing our email list and our contacts and our audience. One of the things that was so impactful and so effective is that Scott did more virtual events for other companies. So one thing that he did was for a networking group, right, that he actually partnered with that had hundreds of thousands, right, of people who are members, he started doing free trainings. And I think a lot of us are like, we should charge for every single thing that we do. But these free trainings, right, where Scott, again, he didn't hold back. He provided amazing value. But they ended up adding how many people we literally added thousands to our email list because he showed up and he actually did trainings and presented. I actually did a training for the National Association for Women Business Owners on content creation. There's different ones that you can reach out to. Again, if you guys have a certain skill or an expertise, people are looking all the time, right, to have training and to up level, their programs.
Yep.
So anyway, we're going to move on. If you guys need to take a snapshot of this, or again, remember you can watch the replay. The other thing too, I want to remind you, using ChatGPT and AI, guys, again, we're living in a great time, right? We can kind of streamline some things. You can actually ask it, what are some things I can do to grow my business? And then share a little bit about your business and your ideal clients.
Yeah, I got booked for a paid speaking event in our local area in February. And the organizer actually just reached out to me and she goes, is there any way that you can share some AI tips for how these business owners can use it to help their business. And I said, absolutely. So as you, this is the big thing, and I want Nancy to move on. You have to evolve as business evolves. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You have to evolve as business evolves. Awesome.
Yep. All right. So next we're going to be talking about, right, those activities that you're working on your business, right? These are high level tasks that shape the development of your business. This is what I call sometimes CEO time, projects. It is, maybe working on things on your goal sheet, or maybe taking those assessment items that you answered no and getting those right situated in your business. So I usually recommend, and honestly, I recently read a book. If you guys have read it before, it's amazing. It's called The 12-Week Year.
Oh, amazing.
I know we keep dropping all these books, and it's so funny. I just
they
love
helped
my
us.
favorites, but the 12-week year is amazing because one thing that they talk about is setting aside at least 3 hours of what we call strategic time each week. Okay. And what that is it's strategic time to work on your business. Okay. If we get away from this and we do not block out time to complete certain things, they're never going to get
Well,
done.
they're going to pile up.
Okay. I remember, in fact, I used to get so stinking frustrated, right? Especially when we were building our business. I was basically, there was no ounce of time in my day that I could get things done working on my business. I had filled it up with client calls. I had filled it up with all kinds of stuff. And really, quite honestly, it was so incredibly frustrating. So it wasn't until I started actually pulling back and realizing, man, I need to actually block out some time to get these things done. Because otherwise, what does that look like? You being frustrated on this hamster wheel, going, ugh, man, like I'm still not getting that thing done. I'm not building that program like I wanted to. I'm not mapping out that course like I wanted to. I didn't create that membership. And then the years go on, and we know how that works, right? So make sure that you guys block out. And again, my rule of thumb, I don't care if you're part-time, I don't care if you're full-time. You're mapping out at least 3 strategic hours each week. Okay. Could be in one day, could be peppered throughout the week.
Could be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an hour.
Yep. Whatever that looks like. And if you guys have to do this on a week-to-week basis because your schedule is funky,
fine.
That's fine. Look
Get
at it
done.
on Sunday. In fact, Scott, okay, cyclically, right? I get frustrated. I get very triggered sometimes when I don't set aside time to get things done. And I get really stressed. And he goes, Nancy, just look at your calendar. Take a look at your calendar. And did you block out time to get it done? Right. And immediately I look at my calendar and go, oh, okay, I can do it here. And I can do it here. And it gives me peace. So whatever that looks like for you guys. The other thing to keep in mind, okay, so I'm just sharing here some high level tasks that you can do. Okay. And whenever I say CEO task, right, that's really anything, as far as maybe reviewing your business, taking a look at your launch strategy, planning out upcoming programs or products that you want to do, meeting with your team. Okay. So my week, okay, so we always share this with you guys. We work 3 days a week, aside from when we do workshops, things like that. And when we want to work in our business, we do. But we usually work on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Okay. So that's what our schedule looks like. So on Mondays, every week, I actually set aside and call my Monday my CEO day. Now, my CEO day consists of me meeting with my team. Okay. So some CEO tasks that I do. I meet with my copywriter. I meet with my admin. I meet with my whole team from my agency, and we go through the priorities for the week, what's going well, who needs help, right? We actually just reel everything in. In fact, Scott doesn't know this yet, but we have a meeting now. So we have a half hour, that's actually mapped out that we can meet together as we go into the week. If there's anything that we need to work on. And then I also have that project time, right? That stuff that I need to get done to really, obviously get done in my business. So that could look like a business review. It could look like creating a content strategy. In fact, again, that's huge for me. Every Monday, I set aside some time to do some research. Okay. So I have a program called Feedly where I go on there and I compile all my favorite blogs, all the big resources when it comes to marketing and digital and social media and everything. And I have time blocked out to actually read through and pick out the articles. And maybe it's something that I create content or I talk about or I teach on, but that time is protected. Could you imagine if I didn't have that time protected? it wouldn't get done.
Well, I think these are all really important things that we're going over with you guys today, because I feel like there's a lot of business coaches and consultants that don't even tell you those things. It's called Feedly, Feedly. Is that right? Feedly?
Yeah, it's Feedly.
Yeah.
And it's just one that you can use. I mean, it's one that I started using just because I really wanted to pull everything together and have it in one place. But whatever works best for you guys. If you wanted to pick maybe your top 3 blogs or sites or podcasts, even, right, that you really like to go to keep yourself up to date. Okay, cool, right? That's a great CEO task, right? That's a great way, like Scott said, to keep up to date with the latest trends and what's going on, right?
And a lot of this in the very beginning may seem daunting, overwhelming, but just know anything that's new or you're implementing into your business for the first time, yeah, there's a learning curve. It's going to be challenging at times. It's going to be overwhelming, but once you get over that hump and you have all these things in place, you've allotted the time that you need to, you start running your business like a well-oiled machine, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So we're going to move on to the next one. So again, if you guys want to take a screenshot, whatever, and we're going to move forward. All right. So the next is working in your business, right? That's day-to-day operational tasks, right? You know, what that could look like is working with clients, right? So maybe it's the coaching calls. If you're a coach, maybe it's consulting time. Maybe it's meeting with a client that's new and getting them onboarded.
A LinkedIn Live, like
Yeah,
that's on
yeah.
my calendar.
Customer service, right? Actually delivering products and services. In fact, the way my agency works, we bring on a client, you know, we do an onboarding call, and then we schedule different calls, right? So that's time that's blocked out. Coaching calls, training and managing the team. Okay. So that's working in your business as well. Resolving operational issues, checking in on clients, office hours, training in general. Okay. So putting together training. So there's lots of different things that you can add in there. Again, not a perfect science, but I want you guys to think about what are those things that you typically do whenever it relates to your business. Think about the different services, products, you know, whatever it is that you offer. What is all the stuff around that needs to get done?
Yep.
Okay. And of course, that's time that you can block out for that.
So if all this is clear and is starting to make sense, and you're starting to really understand our view about how to organize your business, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat, because again, we're teaching you exactly what we do day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. This is how we've streamlined our business to get it to where it is and beyond.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're sitting here, I promise you, again, we're living in such a great time. If you're sitting here and you're going, oh, I still have no idea. Like even, you know, again, giving the suggestions and recommendations, use ChatGPT. You
Yep.
know, again, you can plug in whatever information, teach it a little bit about your business, you know, share with it what it is that you do, pain points, frustrations, things you're working through, and say, please give me a list of tasks that I can do, you know, each week or each day. It can help you out. I promise it can give some ideas. So when it comes to administrative, right, those are certain tasks, right, that you do on a consistent basis that keep your business going. So I want you guys to share in the chat, right? What are some things that you need to do consistently to ensure your business runs smoothly?
Let's share one thing. Just share one thing in the comments that you feel you need to do consistently to ensure your business runs smooth. Just what's one thing? You know, again, because we can do a whole brain dump here, but let's focus it on one. Invoicing books,
Absolutely.
content, staying on top of emails. Absolutely. We do not want that email inbox growing. Send out LinkedIn connection requests. Yes, absolutely. Following up with people, review and reply to emails. Yeah. So leads, absolutely. Emails, following up. These are all things that need to be done.
Yep, absolutely. So whenever it comes to, you know, different tasks, and again, guys, this is, you can put anything that you want, anything that floats your boat, you know, under here. We're brainstorming here together. But, you know, I often think of administrative as, oh my gosh, okay, we got to get caught up on all these emails. We got to make sure to go through on social media, reply to any comments, any administrative tasks, which again, that in and of itself, there's a million things underneath of that. Invoicing and billing, email management, bookkeeping, calendar management, scheduling content, measuring KPIs, data management, so on and so forth, right? There are quite a few things underneath of that. So with that in mind, whenever it comes to administrative, I know many of us, right? It was a very big thing for me whenever I had, we'd really started growing our business to a certain point, to hire and outsource some of this to a team member. Right. And in the past couple years, I think one of the biggest, most amazing things has been having support and having a team member that is able to go in, help reply to support emails. Of course, we've got a lot going on with 3 different businesses, so it's important that we have someone really focusing on all of that. So if you guys are at a place where, again, you can, hire a team member and maybe some of these administrative tasks can be outsourced, heck yeah, take a look at it. Take a look at the big picture. And, that is time where you just swap yourself out with someone else.
Yep.
And that gives you more time to focus
on
on
other
the
things.
sales activities, on the lead generation, and so much more.
Yep.
Okay. So just plant
100%.
that little seed. All right. So now that you know that needs to get what needs to get done. Okay, we're cruising along, guys, because we got a lot to cover today. Remember, if you are still not clear, I want you guys to spend time after this workshop and after this training, really digging deeper into all those different categories and writing down, right, the different things that tangibly need to get done. So once you figure that out, it's time to break it down. Okay. And we're doing something we call time blocking. It's something that Scott taught me, thank goodness, because I was definitely flying by the seat of my pants whenever I first started running my business. I mean, I didn't even have a set work schedule, but we want to have a set work schedule. We want to have consistency. Okay. So whenever it comes to time blocking, okay, it's really important to note that we got to get this stuff on the calendar, right? Switching between tasks sucks up time and energy because the brain has to recall instructions on how to do a previous task before getting into the swing of things, right? This is Mira Cawthand. She's awesome. She wrote a really cool book called Create. But the whole point is we've got to make sure to map this stuff out, and we got to do it for what makes sense for us. So I will say, right, as someone who has ADHD, I do not shift gears well, right? If I have a day or, amount of time that's blocked out and it's just for a certain thing, like I work better that way, right? So for me, my 3 strategic hours each week are usually on a Tuesday. So I usually block off from 11 o'clock, it's 11, 12, 1, and I block out that time because I like to really hone in and stay super hyper focused. Maybe you're someone who can shift gears really quickly and you're cool with doing a coaching call and then jumping into a project and then switching. I just know, guys, after working as long as I have, I don't do that very well. Okay. So do whatever works best for you. And also having time buckets and kind of blocking out this time is going to help stop you from that multitasking.
Yep.
Okay. So you can do this each week, right? I want to give you a little support. We want to take a realistic look at what your schedule can look like. Let's look at the framework. Okay. So what are your hours of operation? I want you guys all to figure that out right now. What time are you starting work each day? Okay. And you guys can add in the chat if you want to share. For me, again, taking a realistic approach, I am not a 5 a.m.er. I am not a 4 a.m.er. I am not someone who wants to jump right out of bed
8 a.m.
and get right to work. That's not happening. Okay. I actually start my workday at 11 a.m. Okay. 11 a.m. is when I start. I don't start any sooner. In fact, I take no calls before 11 a.m. And I've structured my business that way because I know in the morning we have our routine, right? We take the dogs out, we work out, we have our breakfast. I do a little bit of research and I kind of watch some YouTube videos, and then I get ready for the day. And then I'm at my computer at 11 o'clock. Okay. So I love that you guys are sharing. Okay. 8 a.m. High fives to you guys. All right. 9 a.m. 9. Excellent. Okay.
Yep.
So keep it for whatever works for you. But if it feels really icky and you find yourself not being able to get to your desk by that time, I want you guys to really draw a hard line and say no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay. Be your own boss. Be the best version of you. Like if you said 10 a.m., if you said 8 a.m., be at that desk at that time.
Yep.
Okay. Be accountable to yourself. Next, what you're going to do, okay, is block out time for different things. Okay. So if you're looking at your, so we're going to, and just so you guys know, we're going to break this out full-time and part-time. But next step, right now that you got your order of operations, you got your hours of operation, block out time for personal time, for appointments, commitments, and recreation. Okay. So you have to block out time for these things. Okay. If you have personal time, maybe you've got a date night that you do with your spouse each week. Awesome. Put it on the schedule, right? Go ahead and put it in there on the calendar. If you have certain appointments that you have, maybe it's a reoccurring doctor's appointment or something like that. Go ahead and map it out, right? We can plan ahead for these things. If you are making a commitment to something, let's say you're planning out a wedding or you got different things going on, get it on the calendar. Okay. Even recreational time, I think it's so incredibly important, right? We don't want to be flying by the seat of our pants in life, right? And not just, right? We're talking about business, but also in life, right? If you've got some things that you want to do, make sure to get it on the schedule. So the other thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is you really should block out your lunch. I fully am a repeat offender. Okay. Scott is like, geez, get it in your schedule. I work through lunch often. Okay. And I know that if I don't
I
have
don't.
time blocked out for it, I don't eat lunch. Okay. So again, please make sure that you block out time for it. And remember, it could be like 12 to 12:30 every day. It could be a same time each day where you take a little break. We all need breaks, guys. If you find yourself staring at the screen and you're starting to kind of get cross-eyed a little bit and you're getting that feeling like you want to open 20 more tabs, it's important to take a break. Okay. So everyone needs a little bit of break to kind of break up the day. Next, block out your CEO time. Okay. Like I mentioned, make sure that you go in there. Where are you working on your business, right? Those strategic hours that we mentioned. Every single person, full time, part time, should be blocking out 3 strategic hours each week. Okay. And then lastly, again, block out time for projects. So blocking out time for projects, again, this we're just talking about going in and mapping out some of these things that need to get done. This is kind of an order of operations. It's a process. And someone actually, shared one of my favorites. I use a Pomodoro timer. Absolutely. Absolutely all the time. So again, just to go through that really quick. So make sure that you block out time. And again, recapping this is blocking out your time for lunch. Make sure you go in there and block that out. Block out your CEO time, right? The 3 strategic hours each week. Okay. And then lastly, block out time for big projects. Okay. If you've got something coming up, if you're working on something, Scott and I take off usually the month of December. That's whenever we can get some stuff done as we lead into the new year. We can spend time with family, but we do sometimes work on big projects. Block off time for it. Okay. So just sharing with you, right? And I'm giving you an example, right, of what this could look like. I'm just giving you kind of an idea of, right, like working hours or time that you can actually squeeze in here. This is totally, just a little example, but on the left side, I show this is what it could look like, as a part-time coach. So 7 to 8 a.m. working out, 8 to 9 breakfast, 9 to 10 get ready, 10 to 4 go to work, 4 to 5, you drive. I guess your drive is really long. It's an hour drive. 5 to 6, you have dinner. 6 to 7, you have family time. And then maybe 7 to 9, you set aside for working on your business. Okay.
I mean, it's all
Oh,
interchangeable.
yeah,
So
totally.
you
Just
fit it
giving an
together.
example. Okay. Let's say full-time coach, right? You're in the morning, you work out in the morning, you have breakfast, you get ready for the day. And then from 10:30 to 5, you're working on your business. Okay. So again, just giving you an example of what this could look like. Okay. So breaking it down even more, right? We've got the part-time coach. Okay. And I did put in some ideas, right? So if we know that 8 to 5 every day, right? You're in your job Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 is going to be you time. Maybe 7 to 9, right? That's where you're going to be able to take a look at those hours and you're going to start to break things out.
Yep.
Okay. So if I'm thinking about my strategic business hours, I could look at Tuesday and go, I'm blocking 7 to 9 out
Tuesday's my day.
to work on those things. Okay. And then maybe Monday from 7 to 8, I'm reaching out, doing my LinkedIn connect, so on and so forth. Right.
So if all this is clear and is making sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Because again, we want to give you a visual representation of what it looks like to really organize your day.
Yep, absolutely. And guys, I'm just going to be honest. I don't think timing wise, we're going to be able to get through the marketing planning. So we'll probably shift that into tomorrow. Like I said, this is a very meaty training. But again, want to show you what this looks like, right? some things that you can also do supplementally, right? As a part-time, entrepreneur is over the weekend, you can prep for the upcoming week. Maybe on a Sunday, you go through and you start to kind of map things out because maybe you have a couple hours on a Sunday. Maybe you want to work on a training or get something done. Again, as long as you're intentional with your time, that is so okay. Okay. Just because we don't want to work on the weekends doesn't mean we can't, if we need to work for a couple hours. So time blocking is so incredibly important. We need to time block what needs to get done. So when we talk about digging in fact, I just mentioned that, right? So maybe Sunday could be the time that you spend some CEO time on. As we move a little bit deeper, right, we need to make sure that we're time blocking money making activities. Okay. So for someone who is full time, and I'm just giving this example, what does that look like for you? Okay. So we have all this time that we could be spending on different things. When do you want to do money making activities? Okay. So maybe 12:30 to 2. And again, keep in mind, guys, I know we have all different people who do all different things. Let's say you're a real estate agent and you know that you need to have a routine in place to start reaching out, connecting, getting yourself out there, networking with other people. Maybe you set that as a couple hours each day from 12:30 to 2. And then from 2 to 4:30, maybe you're following up and doing something else. So those activities can look a little different to each person, but we want to make sure that you're mapping those out. So just giving you a little homework sneak peek. Okay. The goal of the homework, right, is to actually have you map out your CEO schedule. And whenever I say CEO schedule, it's just your schedule, guys. You are the CEO. This is your business. Okay. So what does that look like? What are you doing on Monday? What are you doing on Tuesday? What are you doing on Wednesday? If it works best for you, however your brain works, okay? I know mine's a very special brain. And again, like I said, I can't shift gears very well. Having a themed out day can be really, really helpful and give you some peace. Monday, theming out my Monday and creating that as my what we call CEO day, where I can really meet with my team. I can make sure I'm planned out for the upcoming week. I can know what's going on. It makes me feel like I have a handle on things. And guys, I look forward to my Mondays. Very rarely do I have to squeeze, sometimes I'll squeeze some client calls or some client check-ins. In fact, I do have time that's, slotted for that. I love my Mondays, but what does that look like for you? Tuesdays I have as mostly my project days or my coaching calls. Thursday, we do most of our trainings and my coaching call, our coaching calls. And that's really kind of narrowed down on that day. What does your schedule look like? Okay. Anything else to add?
Is that it?
No, all right. So we're going to keep cruising along, guys. I know that, we just kind of talk through the micro, but I'm going to get as far as I can, again, with respect to everyone's time. I know we're coming into the top of the hour. But I do want to give you some ideas and a structure for the big plan as well. Okay. So what we're covering right now is what most entrepreneurs are missing when mapping out and organizing what needs to get done in their business. Doing this one simple exercise is going to give you so much clarity. Okay. This is huge. It is all about focusing on mapping out your year. Okay. Focusing on the different products and services that you offer, right? What are the different launches or focuses that you want to have each month? What are your monetary goals? What is the business growth that you hope to have? So it's really looking at your business from a high level overview. Now, in your workbook, there are pages. Okay. There are pages that have like a whole, section for the upcoming quarters. Okay. Now, this is again going to look different from everyone, but in those exercises and in that workbook, you're going to be able to go through and follow this exercise. Okay. So step number 1, right, is open up your workbook, take a look at the different things, write out the major holidays and the things that are happening during that time of the month. If you want to plan a vacation that month, put it down. Okay. This is like step 1. And in fact, I used to do this exercise with people just by taking a blank piece of paper. In fact, take 12, write one for every month and write the month at the top of it. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. After you do that, and again, for everybody who has the workbook, you can just use the workbook. do this step first. Write out the holidays, write down what's going on. And the reason why is you don't want to plan some big thing, or you don't want to focus on really selling a product or service if you are incredibly busy that month, or if you've got things going on. Okay. Now you also want to think, based on the time of year, what would be good content to create, right? What are good themes? What are some good things that you can focus on? So I want you guys to drop in the chat box, just share what it is that you do, right? So just share what
Your
it is that you
professional
do.
title.
Yep, what
Your
it is that you do.
professional title.
Are you a real estate agent? Are you a financial advisor? Are you a coach? Are you a consultant? So on and so forth. Okay. So I'm keeping an eye on the clock. I know we got about 5 minutes left. So with that in mind, okay, you know, I work with an accountant, for example. There might be certain times of the year, right, that certain things are really, really important, right, in the accounting world. You know, coach, speak, trainer, we got a lot of, coaches, consultants, marketing, a lot of different things. So think about, right, as you look at each month, and this is what Scott and I just got done going through. In fact, we planned out our whole 2024. Look at the different months. What's going on, right? New Year's in January, we've got a big month for goal setting, good time to do a business review. Okay. So just jot those things down. Okay. So go through, you know, I went through and I added some different ones, you know, again, different themes, different things that you can focus on, but look at the different months. And I know you guys are going to look at this and you're going to start to go, oh, yeah, that's right. You know, in February, I usually do this, or that's a great time to do this, or, you know, in March, oh, spring. Yes. That's when people are coming out of the house and maybe, you know, they want to work out a little bit more. And, you know, oh, summer is approaching. So again, I want you guys to think about, right, as it applies to your business, what are the different things that you can really focus on? Okay. Now, after you have done that and you're digging in a little bit deeper, right, you've identified the content focuses, the different themes. The next step, and again, I can't tell you how important and huge this is, plan out all your A-level launches.
If you have a big, you know, maybe a coaching program, one-on-one consulting, a group program, a membership, a product, those are considered A-level launches. If you have one of those, planning something out around once each quarter.
Yep. And these are things, okay, and I say launches, but let's just say product or service focuses, right? These are your big ones, right? That you want to make sure that you're putting a lot of time, energy, resources. You're really focusing on ramping up your audience to do this thing. Okay. So going through and actually planning them out. In fact, I purposefully tell people it's good to do one per quarter. So take a look from January, February, March, you know, what different things can you focus on, or what one thing can you really focus on? And then the next step after that is to plan out your B-level launches. And
those are things just underneath that if it's something.
Yep. And keep in mind, so we're going to stop there today because again, I don't want to tack on too much. We're going to cover the rest of this in tomorrow's training. So again, we'll kind of do the overflow. You guys also in your workbook, right? It's got all those sheets, right? With all the different months broken up with some of this guiding you through it. Again, I don't want you to be scared away by the word launch. It could be a focus, right? If you guys have one-on-one services, maybe that particular launch is going to be focusing on really marketing, right? Your one-on-one services.
Yep.
Let's say you want to close 5 clients that month or 10 clients or however many it might be. When we say B-level launches, that could be a really strong focus on growing your email list, growing your podcast. If you have one, it could be really ramping up some different things, you know, lots of different stuff, right? So you can obviously map those out as well and be intentional.
So your accountability assignment for day 2 is to create your CEO schedule. There's going to be a post pinned to the top of the Facebook group. It's going to say Nancy's day 2 homework thread. And once you're done your CEO schedule, you just have to comment below, I've created my CEO schedule. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with me. Awesome. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over the last part of your marketing strategy, but also what are the things that you need to do to get organized with everything that we've done so far? Because again, we want to not only teach you all the stuff, we're going to show you how to get organized. So again, there's going to be an accountability assignment. Obviously, that's going to be pinned to the top, creating your CEO schedule. and there'll be 2 more winners announced at the end of the year. So as far as creating your CEO schedule, that could be per week. It could be, just start with it, I would say, a week at a time.
Just create a
Baseline.
basic, okay, blocking out your times, what it is that you're going to work on. Just one for, each week, kind of a foundational is good.
The 2 winners from day number 1, Loretta Calvin and Bonnie Poonerball, are the 2 winners from this week, or from day number 1. Obviously, there'll be winners announced tomorrow. So again, the replay of this will be sent out tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Same replay link as before. And don't forget, stay tuned. Tomorrow is vital that you be there, because we're going to be putting a lot of what we learned in day 1 and day 2 to all make sense in day number 3. So we do hope to see you there tomorrow.